If you ever get into a rideshare car and notice a smell that doesn't belong to air freshener, cancel the ride. Don't thank the driver. Don't apologize. Just get out. I learned something after that night, something no one ever warns you about. You can survive the worst thing that ever happens to you and still wish you hadn't. That night, I screamed when I woke up, so loud that my throat bled and my body trembling. Because I woke up blind, my world black and burning, and the first thing that hit me was that scent. Clean, warm, familiar. The same scent I'd complimented hours earlier. The same scent that took my eyes. It started as an ordinary night. That's the part that still hurts the most. I booked an Uber to my friend's place, nothing special. Just another ride, another driver, another forgettable trip across the city. I remember checking my phone while the car pulled up, barely looking at the license plate. When I opened the door and slid into the back seat, the smell hit me immediately. Not overpowering, not cheap. Something layered, woodsy, a hint of spice, maybe citrus underneath. Expensive but subtle. "Your cologne's really nice," I said without thinking. The driver glanced up at me through the rearview mirror and smiled. A normal smile. Friendly. Middle-aged guy, maybe mid-40s. Clean-shaven. Warm eyes. The kind of face you forget as soon as you look away. "Thank you," he said. "You've got good taste." He chuckled softly and started driving. We pulled away from the curb. Streetlights slid across the windshield like slow-moving ghosts. I checked my phone out of habit. Destination confirmed, route loading, and leaned back, already relaxing. "You've got striking eyes," he said suddenly. I blinked. People had told me that before. Blue eyes tend to draw comments, but something about the way he said it made my shoulders tense. "Thanks," I replied with a small laugh. I told myself not to overthink it. Some people were just awkward. Some people didn't know when a compliment crossed into something else. The city hummed around us, tires whispering over asphalt, buildings slipping past in the dark. He continued, glancing at me again in the mirror. "What brings you out tonight?" I explained I was heading to a friend's place. Nothing special, just a visit. He nodded, as if storing the information carefully. "I like collecting things," he said after a moment. "Collecting?" I asked. "Things I appreciate," he clarified. "Objects, memories, beauty." I waited for him to elaborate, but he didn't. His eyes met mine in the mirror again, held them longer than necessary, then returned to the road. I laughed lightly, trying to keep things normal. Sounds interesting. I glanced down at my phone again. We weren't on the main route. Maybe traffic had forced a detour. Maybe the app recalculated. Still, a small knot tightened in my stomach. "Shortcut," the driver said casually, as if reading my mind. "Saves time." "Oh, okay," I replied. His tone was so calm, too calm. He kept smiling. Every few seconds, his eyes flicked up to the mirror, always checking, always watching. Not nervously, not distracted, intently. The city outside had thinned into darker stretches, street lights spaced farther apart. My phone screen dimmed as the signal bars dropped. I thought about saying something, about asking him to stick to the route, about ending the ride. Instead, I stayed quiet, because nothing had happened yet. And because the most dangerous thing in the world is a man who looks harmless. and knows it. I wasn't staring out the window anymore. I was watching my phone, following the blue line as it bent and straightened across the map. Suddenly, my phone vibrated softly as the app recalculated. The street we entered was narrower, darker. The buildings leaned closer together, their windows mostly unlit. The streetlights here were older, dimmer, casting yellow pools that the car slipped through like something swimming underwater. Hey, my map just changed. The driver chuckles quietly, not amused, more indulgent, like a parent humoring a child. Yes, he said, it does that sometimes. He didn't look at me when he said it. The scent in the car had changed again. What was once light and pleasant now felt heavier, denser, like breathing through fabric. Sweetness layered over something sharper, something chemical. I watched his eyes in the rearview mirror. They weren't smiling anymore, but his mouth still was. The contrast sent a cold ripple through my chest. My phone screen dimmed again. One bar of signal, then none. The app froze. Outside, the city thinned into stretches of nothing, fences, empty lots, buildings that looked half forgotten. The hum of traffic was gone, replaced by the low, constant whine of tires on rougher pavement. Hey, I said more firmly now. I really need to stick to the route. This time he looked at me, not in the mirror. He turned his head slightly, just enough that I could see his profile. Calm, composed, eyes reflecting the dashboard light. We are just not the one you expected, he said gently. My pulse kicked hard. The scent surged, suddenly overwhelming, filling my lungs before I could react. My head swam. The edges of my vision blurred, the world smearing like wet paint. What is that? I coughed, my throat tightening. He faced forward again, adjusting something near his seat. It helps people relax, he said. You've been tense. I reached for the door handle, fingers clumsy, strength draining from my arms. My heartbeat thundered in my ears, loud enough to drown out my thoughts. The last thing I remember clearly was the rearview mirror. His eyes met mine one final time, and for the first time since I'd gotten into the car, he stopped pretending to look human. Then everything went dark. Later, I woke up, choking. Air slammed back into my lungs like I'd been underwater too long. My chest burned. My head throbbed with a deep, pulsing pain that made it hard to think straight. For a few seconds, I didn't know where I was. There was no movement, no sound of the road, no engine, just stillness. The scent was still there, stronger now, thicker. It clung to the inside of my nose, my throat, like it had seeped into me. I tried to move, but my body felt heavy. Not restrained, just slow, unresponsive, drugged. My eyes struggled to focus. Shapes blurred together in the darkness around me. I couldn't tell if I was still inside the car or somewhere else entirely. Hey, I tried to speak, but my voice barely came out. A shadow shifted somewhere in front of me. Close. Too close. I couldn't make out his face clearly, but I knew it was him. You should rest. The driver's voice came, calm as ever, almost gentle. My heart started pounding again. I tried to sit up, but a wave of dizziness slammed me back down. What did you... My words slurred together. He didn't answer. I heard something soft, fabric, movement. Then A sharp pressure near my face. Not pain, just contact. Deliberate, careful, like someone handling something fragile. My breathing turned erratic. No, wait! But my body wouldn't respond. The scent flooded deeper into my lungs. Everything started slipping again. The last thing I remember was his voice right beside me. Quiet, certain. "I only take one thing," he said. Hours later, I woke up screaming. The sound tore out of me before I understood why, before my mind caught up to what my body already knew. My head felt like it was split open, fire blooming behind my eyes, pressure so intense it made me retch. I clawed at my face, nails scraping skin, and felt nothing where something should have been. No blinking, no light, no resistance, just emptiness. I froze, my breath hitching in my chest, then pressed my palms harder against my face, praying, begging for sensation to return. It didn't. The pain was everywhere and nowhere at once, a deep, throbbing burn that made it impossible to think. "Oh God," I whispered. "Oh God, no." I tried to open my eyes. That was when I understood the truth. The darkness didn't change, not even a little. Panic swallowed me whole. I screamed until my throat shredded, until my voice cracked and broke into hoarse animal sounds. I thrashed, rolling off something soft and landing hard on the floor, the impact knocking the air from my lungs. The floor. Carpet. I lay there, confusion bleeding through terror. Carpet didn't belong in concrete rooms or abandoned buildings. My hands fumbled outward, desperate, brushing against furniture, familiar shapes, familiar textures. A couch, a coffee table, my living room. No, I sobbed, dragging myself forward, hands shaking as they traced the walls. Every step felt unreal, like my body was moving through a memory instead of a place. I hit the corner of the hallway and collapsed, crying so hard my ribs ached. He had brought me home. When the police came, I remembered their voices, careful, distant, and already filled with doubt. They asked questions I couldn't answer. Where exactly did it happen? What was his name? What did the car look like? I couldn't tell them. My phone was never found, obviously. I told them about the smell. They didn't write that part down. They said, without records, without witnesses, without eyes, especially without eyes, there wasn't much they could do. Their footsteps faded eventually, leaving me alone in the silence of my own house. I live in that silence now. Life didn't stop after that night. It limped forward. Doctors, therapy, learning how to move through rooms without reaching for things that weren't there anymore. Friends tried to help. Family tried to understand. Everyone wanted answers I couldn't give them. A name, a face, a record. I had none. The city kept moving. Cars kept coming. Rideshare apps kept promising safety with bright screens and cheerful tones. Eventually, I had to use them again. Independence demands it. Fear doesn't get a vote forever. Sometimes I get into a car and I smell it again. Faint, familiar, almost comforting. And for a second, I forget how to breathe. But I don't panic anymore, because the collector already took what he wanted from me. So listen to me, please. He's still out there, still collecting. If you ever get into a ride and notice a scent that doesn't belong, don't second-guess yourself. Don't worry about being rude. Don't assume you're imagining things. Cancel the ride. Because some collectors don't want your money. They want what lets you see them coming. Thanks for sipping tonight's tale with Haunted Brew. Don't forget to subscribe. And sleep tight if you still can.